What a humdinger of a game that was. Every time you're going to talk about New Zealand versus England, you are going to refer to that iconic game, the final of the 2019 50-over World Cup, and New Zealand losing that encounter by the barest of margin, as you heard from the commentators. Went down to the super over, even that was tied, and then on boundary count back, England were crowned champions. Once again, these two teams are facing off in a very, very crucial encounter at the ICC stage. This is the first semi-final that we're building up to, is the T20 World Cup. England taking on New Zealand, and we're dubbing it as champion versus champion. Now, why are we calling it champion versus champion? That's because on one side you have a team that is the champion of the 50-over format. On the other side you have a team that are the current test champions of the world. So Kane, Williamson on one side, Eoin Morgan on the other side. Then they have the firepower of Butler on one side, the calmness of Williamson, pace of Wood on one side, the swing of Bolt on the other, the wile of Rashid on one side, and then the practicality of Sodhi and Santner. So these are the very exciting matchups that we're going to talk about in our program. Also joining us live on the program is going to be former India captain in Sunil Gavaskar. But before I get to Sunny bhai, let's quickly listen in to both the captains. They had immense respect for each other. Kane Williamson talking about how England is such a dangerous side, as well as you heard from Eoin Morgan saying they're not going to take the Kiwi team lightly.
I mean, we've played each other a number of times. We've had some really, really good games and really good series. And, you know, the evolution of the England side, and particularly the white ball sides, been significant over a number of years. And they've got, you know, a lot of experienced T20 players in their side, and as a collective are playing some really good cricket. So we know it's a nice challenge that we're looking forward to, and you know, both teams try and utilise what they have to the best of their ability, and try and play their best cricket. So I mean, you turn up on the day, and as we know, particularly in this format, it's very fickle in its nature, and both teams will go out and look to put their best foot forward.
Yeah, we can't obviously a big achievement within itself, coming through the group stage like we did and topping the table. But now, you know, it's all about producing, you know, as close to your best as we can. We know how good New Zealand are. We know how consistent they've been over the last number of World Cups, not only the recent ones, but you know, you look further and beyond Kane's realm as captain. New Zealand have always been extremely competitive in and around semi-finals and finals consistently for some time now. So we're looking forward to a challenge.
Right, joining us live on the program is Sunil Gavaskar. Sunny bhai, on all the build-up to this semi-final between New Zealand and England, there is talk of that iconic 50-over World Cup final. I know New Zealand is not a side that are going to be looking for revenge, because we've seen, you know, the gentleman cricketer, all of them under the able leadership of Williamson. But there's going to be some sort of residue there.
Most definitely, because look, I think everybody recognizes that, but for that overthrow, or not the overthrow, that a ricochet off the bat that went for a boundary, the entire scenario would have been completely different. We all know that, but that's the way the luck of the game goes. But clearly, I think New Zealand will be looking to correct that in this 20 overs format. And well, this is one step, because they still have to go to the finals. This is just the semi-finals. But yes, I think there will be just a little bit of added interest, you know, maybe added determination when the Kiwis take on the England team.
Okay, there are going to be plenty of matchups, and we'll get into the details a little later, Sunny bhai, but the first matchup that comes to mind are two very able captains in Eoin Morgan, Kane Williamson. Who do you think has marshalled his troops better in the tournament thus far?
You would have to say Morgan, because his personal contribution with the bat hasn't quite been there, but he hasn't let that affect his leadership. The way he's made the bowling changes, the way he's held back certain bowlers like Moeen Ali not bowling, sometimes, you know, right till the end, sometimes rolling at the top. Same with Adil Rashid. The way he shuffled the batting order up, yes, up and down. You got to say that he has been the more proactive captain. On the other hand, Kane Williamson has been, you know, very steady, very correct in like his batting, and he has done nothing wrong either. Kane Williamson hasn't done anything wrong, but it's just that, you know, Morgan seems to have, you know, tried a little bit more and got a little more out of his players.
Okay, Simon, I thought I'll take the prediction right at the end of the program, but I've now, changed my mind. I want to do it right here to set some sort of context. Who are you going to be backing? Which is the team that's looking stronger at the moment?
For me, look, I don't think if you're not an Englishman, just about everybody would be wanting New Zealand to win for the simple reason they're such nice guys, and you want to see nice guys not get the wooden spoon. You want them to get the golden or the silver spoon. So clearly, I think I'm looking at New Zealand going through to the finals. But then again, England are a very strong team. Yes, I think they will miss Jason Roy, who's been in outstanding form. And then, in a match like this, an important match like this, suddenly you have a new opening pair. That is never very good. But I do believe that England actually have the firepower. How the Kiwis, deal with that is going to be the deciding factor.
Okay, you lead me very nicely into the next set of questions that I had for you, because you talk about Jason Roy, and England are going to be missing him in this very crucial encounter. Remember, they also lost their seamer in Tymal Mills, someone they got specially for this particular World Cup. So they've lost him as well. And remember, before even the tournament started, they were without the services of the likes of Jofra Archer and Ben Stokes. How is it that the English team is going to cope up with these losses? Listen in to the captain.
Here, I think, like losing any of your experienced players, you can't really replace that experience that Jason has. He's played integral parts in our two previous World Cup campaigns. So very similarly to other guys that have been injured or have missed the tournament through injury, other guys have found something else within themselves to either try and fill that gap or contribute in a different way to the team. If you look right from the very beginning of our selection process leading into the World Cup, we've had a number of big name players missing from our squad, and that's continued both pre-tournament with Sam Curran and in the tournament with Jason Roy and Tymal Mills. So I think of all the good things that we've done well throughout this tournament, probably the strongest point has been the resilience within our squad to be able to find a way to move forward and forge on.
All right, English captain there, Eoin Morgan, keeping his cards very close to his chest, not revealing what is it that's going to be their opening combination. Saibai, Jason Roy, as you said, now is out, so they'll have to go in with a new opening pair. What do you think is going to be the best option for England? Bairstow is one. He's been doing very well in the middle order. Do you push him because that's the place that he's batted before? And then Billings probably comes into the middle order. Is that the best option for them?
Well, look at the way Bairstow has opened the batting for Sunrisers in the IPL. He's been absolutely phenomenal there. So clearly, he's used to opening the batting, and I think that is the change that will happen, where he will get pushed up the order, and maybe Sam Billings will come in his place. That is a possibility. If Morgan had been in form, very good form, then I think they might have even gone with somebody who's a bowler. But because he's not been in the best of form, I think they will, as you said, go in for Billings, who can also tonk the ball, who can be a bit of a finisher at 6 and 7.
All right, so that Morgan form becomes very, very crucial in terms of how they're going to be selecting their playing 11. Also, just looking at from New Zealand's perspective, Sunny, one thing that we saw ever since Tymal Mills has not been part of this team, the Pacers have gone for plenty of runs. We saw South Africa do that versus the English team. Is that something that the Kiwi batsmen will have in their mind, target the likes of Jordan, Wood and Vokes?
They have to. They have to, because those are the weak links. Before every match, you identify a couple of bowlers who you think are going to be the weak links, who's 8 overs, that is 4 and 4 overs each. Out of those, you're going to make at least 6 overs count for plenty. That is the way you approach the match. And obviously for that, you need your biggest tonkers around. So somebody like a Martin Guptill has to stick around, because if he gets out in the first 6 overs, when the Jordan comes into bowl, or even a Mark Wood comes into bowl, or even the off-spin of Moeen Ali comes in, you want somebody who's going to be able to play the big shots. Yes, we know that Daryl Mitchell can do that. We know Devon Conway, the left-hander, can play the big shots as well. But I think Martin Guptill is going to be the key factor as far as the Kiwi batting is concerned, because he is one of the finest players, but he hasn't always quite fulfilled his potential.
All right, let's also show our viewers the head-to-head graphics, and these are very interesting stats when it comes to New Zealand and England. First, let's show you how they've performed against each other in the last 5 encounters. These are the last 5 T20Is between these two teams. Narrowly, England have the wood over New Zealand there at 3-2. So England have won 3 and New Zealand 2. Let's also show you what they've done in their last ICC tournaments in 2 very crucial encounters. We've spoken about that 2019 World Cup final, which was a very close contest once again. That was won by England. But more importantly, let's go back to this format. And the last time before this 2019 World Cup they met was at the 2016 T20 World Cup semi-final. And that was another game that England won by 7 wickets. So at the moment, looking at these records, you'd have to say a slight edge to England. But Sunil, we were talking about some key players. Let me bring up another name in Jos Buttler. How is it? I mean, would you say, or would it be fair to say that it depends how well Jos Buttler performs on the day will actually eventually decide which side ends up on the winning side?
To a great extent. Obviously, one player doesn't always make the game, but somebody like Jos Buttler who got 100 the other day, he's the kind of player, if he bats for about 18 of the overs or even for 10 overs, he'll have put plenty of runs on the board. Because he's got a range of shots that is just unbelievable. He can power the ball away. He can find the gaps. He just got that innovativeness. He can scoop the ball. He can reverse scoop the ball, everything. He's got just about every shot in the book. So, yes, I think he's going to be an important factor if England are looking to score 180 plus in this game.
All right, Sunil, we'll leave it at that. We're all looking forward to an exciting encounter between New Zealand and England. Of course, we'll have Sunil Gavaskar join us at the end of the game and we'll analyze whichever team has won and what is it that the other team got wrong. But if just to give you some quick update from Abu Dhabi, what we're getting to hear that there's plenty of grass on the pitch. There's lots of breeze. I wonder if that's going to help the New Zealand seamers. That's all that we have on this edition of our program. Thanks so much for watching.